I used a variety of methods to get audience feedback. One of these methods was emailing the whole school. I use this method because it's an easy way to reach a lot of people simultaneously. I emailed a SurveyMonkey questionnaire which had a few formal questions for them to answer about what they thought of my website, such as, what do you like and what could be improved for the homepage? This method gave me honest feedback as it was anonymous. I found it very useful as it let me know what people liked and if I needed to change anything. For example, they all liked the strong red colour theme but thought the Spotify link could be joined with a logo to make it clearer what the Spotify link is. A downside of this method could be that people often open their emails on their phone and so go to the mobile version of my website rather than the computer one, which is completely different as I've only worked on the computer version. I've also shown people the website either in groups of 2 or 3 or 1-to-1. I got some really good feedback from this from a couple of people, but it could have been improved as I was the person navigating the website instead of them. This meant I couldn't get feedback on whether stuff was easy to find because I was showing them exactly what I knew what was there rather than them discovering it. This is where the emailing was better because it flagged up things like the Spotify link not being clear. The people I showed the website to suggested I put the text on the merchandise page in bordered boxes. One person said, why don't you group the merchandise in coloured boxes? I followed this advice and made the change to make it look more professional. I put the merchandise text in a black box and made the text red to fit in with the colour theme. They also told me to add additional details to the contact form. However, I didn't follow this advice because I felt additional details were unnecessary, as the website had a contact form already. Plus, I wanted to keep the website fairly simple so the audience doesn't get bored or bogged down by information. I also did some test screenings of music videos with small groups of people, which was okay. However, I had to prompt most people into saying constructive criticism, as most people just said it's good rather than giving proper criticism. I also tried to get feedback by posting a draft of the video on Facebook and letting people comment. However, I found this method not too good because people were hesitant to put their opinions on a public online post. As with some examples that I've previously mentioned, my audience research provided me with a lot of ideas and suggestions of things to change. For example, there was dialogue in the video previously, but feedback from my audience research reinforced my initial thoughts that it wasn't needed and that it seemed out of place, so I decided not to include it. I also followed my audience feedback with ideas about the banner in my magazine advert. Someone suggested having a translucent banner rather than an opaque one or no banner. I followed this advice and added a red banner because I originally thought it was a good idea to have the banner opaque because it makes it clear that the text and logos aren't part of the picture, but I was worried it would look out of place as it wouldn't fit with the photo. This is a good example of an idea I hadn't thought of but used anyway. I would get around this next time by making sure I fully know the capabilities of programs like Photoshop because I feel like I would have had more ideas had I known about Photoshop and had the confidence to use it. Audience feedback helped me a lot with the website especially, and I have multiple posts about it on my blog, including more about how I responded to feedback. For example, in a group of 3 people looking at the website, someone said, maybe you should put the Etsy link in a box to make it stand out more. So I gave the link and text a red outline. If I did this differently, I would use a lot more surveys emailed to the whole school. This is because it reaches a lot of people, especially young people, which is who the product is mainly aimed at, and it is anonymous. I think getting audience feedback from younger people was good because they are more aware of the technologies I'm using and what I can do with them. So I made sure to get some of my friends who are familiar with Photoshop to have a look at the magazine advert, as Photoshop was a program I used. And they also thought of ideas that I didn't know you could do with Photoshop. I think I was quite objective, but the thing holding me back was not knowing the full capabilities of some of the tech I was using. Also, I won't be there to influence what people say and people will write what they think rather than what anyone else thinks. I would also reach out to people who aren't necessarily my friends or my age. This is because they are more likely to be objective and also have different ideas to me.